the Hedgehog 2006 is arguably one of the most notorious video games of all time, regarded by many as one of the worst games to have ever been released and the absolute lowest point in Sonic's career. The game is known for completely tarnishing the Sonic the Hedgehog brand and will forever be a shadow on the Sonic franchise, regardless of the quality of the new games being released. The game that planned to reboot the Sonic franchise and make it a new age for Sonic resulted in Sonic becoming the punching bag of the gaming world, and Sega and Sonic fans are still in many ways feeling the effects of 06 14 years on. But what if Sonic 06 is actually a good game? Is Sonic 06 really that bad? Well, yes it is. The game is abysmal in all aspects aside from the soundtrack. But what if it didn't have to be? Imagine a timeline where Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 released and was actually a good game. I present to you Sonic P06, otherwise known as Sonic 06 PC. Sonic P06 is an unofficial remake of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 in the Unity engine. The game is still in active development by fans, with the main person in charge of the project being Chaosx. He originally started the project on his own, but over time a small group have formed and Sonic 06 is slowly becoming closer and closer to fully being available on PC. Now, as a Sonic fan, I put up with a lot, but if there's one thing that I can say the Sonic community truly excels at, it's the fan projects and modding community. It truly is amazing to see what people can make when the passion is there, and it's so fascinating to see all these different people's interpretations on how a Sonic game should play. Sonic Generations has steadily been receiving mod support for over 9 years now, and there's no sign of it slowing down. As a Sonic fan, if you have a PC, one of the best purchases you can make in my opinion is a copy of Sonic Generations on Steam. The modding community for that game is absolutely amazing, and there is constantly new stuff being brought out. Another noteworthy mention is the Sonic fan game Sonic Robo Blast 2, which has been updated and continually built on since 1998. The game has a whole team behind it and is a fully fleshed out Sonic game with unique zones, themes and gameplay mechanics. It's actually a mod of Doom, believe it or not, and has a fully fleshed out multiplayer mode which is an absolute blast to play with friends. I could honestly go on for hours about Sonic fan projects and mods. There's so many good demos like Sonic Utopia or the Sonic Infinity engine, and I mean, look at Sonic Mania, where Sega actually hired the team behind classic Sonic fan games to make a full official retail Sonic game. There is no doubt that where Sega drops the ball with Sonic, fans are definitely there to pick up the slack. It is honestly, in my opinion, the best part about the Sonic fanbase. But today we're talking specifically about Sonic P06. Sega are notoriously picky with PC ports of Sonic games, while in more recent times it seems that they are releasing PC ports to coincide with console releases. For older titles, it's far more complex. You can get the classic Sonic games being Sonic 1, 2, 3 and K and CD on Steam, but no Knuckles Chaotix. Fair enough, since that game is pretty niche. There's Steam ports of Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but there's no Steam port for Heroes. There is an original PC port on disc from years ago, but I'm talking specifically about a modern Steam release here. Shadow never got a PC port, and even Unleashed didn't get a PC port for some fucking reason. I mean, seriously, come on. It's Unleashed.
What does that even mean? it's turbo.
Colors didn't, Boom didn't, Lost Worlds did weirdly enough, but you get my point here. The PC ports of Sonic games are all over the place. Critically acclaimed games like Sonic Colors remain untouched, while games like Sonic Lost Worlds are brought over to Steam out of nowhere. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 also never received a PC port. One was planned, but like most of the game itself, it was cancelled due to time constraints. Well, as I said before, Sonic P06 aims to fix this problem and give people a true way to play Sonic 06 on PC. Now I may hear you ask, why the fuck Sonic 06? Why one of the worst Sonic games to have ever been released? Why focus efforts on porting that specific game? And while Sonic 06 will always have a special charm to it in my eyes, and there is some deep-rooted nostalgia for the game embedded within me, I do see your point, and could maybe even agree with you. But Sonic P06 is not just a simple port of Sonic 06. Sonic P06 is a different beast entirely, and I can safely say, hand on heart personally, it is the best fan project I have ever played. Let me explain to you why. Okay, so the first thing to establish is that Sonic P06 is a work in progress and is nowhere near completion. As of the making of this video, there have been 3 demos released. The first demo was released in April 2019, featuring 2 Sonic levels, Wave Ocean and Kingdom Valley. The second demo release featured Wave Ocean, Kingdom Valley, Dusty Desert, Flame Core and Radical Train. After this, Chaosx went on a bit of a break to work on other projects, but then, in July 2020, a third demo was released. And baby, this one is the motherlode. The third demo features every stage in Sonic's story. Now when I say this, I am strictly talking about the core stages. There are no hub worlds or story implementation here. This is strictly just in the trial section of the game, but this does essentially mean a sizable portion, and arguably the best portion, of 06 is available in Sonic P06. But what is it that makes Sonic P06 just so amazing? Well, despite everything I've said about 06 and how awful the game is, there is no denying that the game didn't have ambition, and the actual concept was not completely flawed like Sonic Boom. No. When you truly dig deep, you can see potential in Sonic 06. The idea of a true successor to the adventure games utilising modern hardware, that sounds incredible. Obviously, we never got that, but there are very rare scenarios in 06 where you can see a brief moment of what the game could have been. You can actually see the light of a good idea. The problem is all the potential and good ideas are buried in a catastrophic amount of shit, but Chaosx has done God's work. He's waded through that shit and dug deep to find the truly good ideas in Sonic 06 and has given them new life by executing them in a way that they live up to their true potential, along with adding in his own ideas to make the game blossom into a very competent adventure gameplay style. Okay, so let's go through the core things I feel Chaosx has done that makes this project so good. Let's start off with something that has been crucial to Sonic games ever since the first release in 1991. Momentum. Sonic the Hedgehog has always been about momentum from the very start, and out of every Sonic game I have ever played, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 has the least. No, scratch that, Sonic 06 has absolutely no momentum. When we look back on the 2 games Sonic 06 is taking heavy inspiration from, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, both these games place a huge emphasis on momentum. So by Sonic 06 fundamentally just having no momentum at all, the game has already lost any chance of living up to the original adventure games, because 06 lacks a core feature of Sonic that has been there from the very beginning. Now some of you may be wondering, what exactly do I mean by momentum? Well, allow me to explain. First off, when I say Sonic 06 has no momentum, that doesn't mean the game has no speed. In certain sections that is definitely not true, but any speed in Sonic 06 is what I like to call fake speed. The speed isn't earned or achieved. You simply go fast when you hit an automated loop or go through a set of boost pads. As soon as that section is over, Sonic is back to a light jog. Let me use Sonic 2 and Sonic Adventure as a comparison. Look at this section in Chemical Plant Zone. There's a long downward slope for Sonic to run across. As the player runs down this slope, he gets faster and faster and faster. Sonic is gaining momentum, until eventually he is moving at a blistering speed. This is a fundamental part of Sonic's identity, and Sonic Team carried this over when making Sonic in 3D. Let's look at Sonic Adventure 2 City Escape. In this section of City Escape, Sonic is again running down a slope, this time a road. and again we can clearly see that over time he gains more and more momentum and builds up speed. This is a fundamental mechanic Sonic 06 is just flat out missing. It doesn't matter if you run up an almost vertical slope or down an almost vertical slope, Sonic will stay at the same dull pace he does throughout the entire game without assistance of things like boost pads or automated sections, and this is the biggest problem for 06 and the greatest display of wasted potential in the entire game, because if you just purely look at the level design for Sonic 06 stages, they would work perfectly with momentum based gameplay. The hilly terrain, the constant loops and springs, the large scopes of the levels, the design of the levels is actually at its core really good. They were just made unfun by the game's mechanics and controls. But Chaosx has actually implemented momentum into Sonic 06, and this is what I think is the most important change he has made. Not only has Sonic's base standard speed been increased, Sonic now actually reacts to momentum, and the stages can finally be utilised and played through properly where things don't feel so fucking stiff. Now this hasn't been fully fine-tuned yet, which is something I noticed when playing in the test stage. Sonic still doesn't exactly react to the environment naturally with momentum, but as soon as Sonic rolls into a ball, momentum takes control. This could be changed in future releases, as Chaosx is constantly tweaking how the game works to fine tune it, or alternatively this could just mean that to achieve momentum in Sonic P06 you need to roll into a ball, and is a purposefully implemented game mechanic by Chaosx to encourage players to spin dash. Even if the answer is the latter, this does actually kind of line up with the classic games, as to gain truly blistering speed going down slopes, rolling into a ball was a necessity. Regardless, it truly is such a godsend to play Sonic 06 with real momentum and flow. The stages can now truly be played how they were meant to be. Another thing Chaosx actually implemented into the game was realistic momentum physics to the environment. Let me explain. In the original 06, due to the lack of momentum in the game, it didn't matter if you came at a loop, slope or wall at blistering speeds or just a simple walk. If in some way Sonic is meant to be able to run on it, then in a lot of cases Sonic can just defy gravity and walk up it, and in some cases fucking stop and play idle animations. Chaosx has changed it, where Sonic now actually needs to come into the environment at a speedy pace to run up it. He also needs to keep that pace or he will fall off. Because of these changes, the game feels so much more natural and not completely automated. You now feel like you actually are meant to achieve speed and keep the momentum going throughout the level. The newfound emphasis on momentum doesn't just stop with the physics. Sonic's moveset has heavily been modified to allow gameplay to flow naturally and keep a fast pace. One of the biggest problems with Sonic's moveset in the original 06 was the bounce bracelet. The bounce bracelet is a great move for the adventure gameplay style. In Sonic Adventure 2 it was awesome, but Sonic 06 royally fucked it up. If you perform the bounce bracelet in Sonic 06, any speed you have is brought to a complete halt as Sonic stops dead in his tracks to perform the move. When performing the bounce bracelet you cannot move around like in SA2, instead you simply stay in that one fixed position. On top of this, there is no quick snappy way to break out of the bounce bracelet. You have to wait for Sonic to gently float down, hit the ground, and then you can start moving again. Project 06 is completely different. The bounce bracelet is now miles better. Sonic is free to move around and truly cause havoc on his enemies. You can also break out with the bounce bracelet at any time. Sonic moving with the bounce bracelet makes the move so much better. It makes combat more dynamic, interesting and fun, while also simultaneously keeps the pace fast and doesn't slow the gameplay down at all. However, the bounce bracelet was just one of many incredible changes made to Sonic's skill set. Okay, so in the original 06, Sonic also had two types of slide, a quick one and a long one, a light speed dash, a spin dash, and the aforementioned bounce bracelet. The problem was, for some stupid fucking reason, every single one of these moves was mapped to the same fucking button. X on Xbox or square on PlayStation. Why they fucking did this is beyond me. The 360 and PS3 controllers had 4 face buttons, enough for each move to have their own button separately. Anyway, this decision resulted in some serious problems during gameplay. Because the spin dash was the same button as the slide button, pressing X when moving would activate the slide, while pressing X when still would perform the spin dash. This meant that to perform the spin dash in Sonic 06, the player had to completely stop in their tracks. But that's not even the end of it. When in the air, the X button would activate the bounce bracelet. Unless you are near a trail of rings the game wants you to lightspeed dash on. In that case, the button acts as the lightspeed dash button. Holy fuck, that is a lot of uses for one fucking button. This also resulted in many deaths, because you would be near a trail of rings in the air, go to lightspeed dash, and bounce bracelet to a death pit below. Chaosx has reworked everything. Firstly, the spin dash. The spin dash is now mapped to the X button, regardless of scenarios. It doesn't matter if you're moving or completely still, X is the spin dash. The spin dash has been made way faster, and Chaosx has added the ability to spin dash spam like an SA1, which is basically where you can tap the spin dash button continually while moving to gain serious momentum and speed. And my god, this makes the spin dash go from something never used in 06 to a crucial part of your experience. Being able to spin dash spam and rack up tons and tons of speed in a short time in exchange for a lack of control and Sonic becoming overall more slippery creates this perfect risk versus reward scenario. The spin dash spam isn't so botched it can break the game, but it's still able to get you some serious speed if you can use it in the right scenario. Yet another factor that just adds to the game's new sense of speed and emphasis on momentum. The two slides are now mapped to the B button, which is where they belong. This gives the player the choice to choose and switch between using the spin dash and the slide, encouraging the player to think more about their surroundings as each move will work better in certain scenarios. The slide is no longer an obligation, it's a choice. The lightspeed dash has also been overhauled. This move has been mapped to the Y button, meaning each move gets their own designated button on the controller. Thank fucking god. But Chaosx has done more than that. The detection of lightspeed dash ring trails was fucking abysmal in 06. The game would constantly not recognise you once a lightspeed dash and you would just fall to your death. In P06 it's miles better and the most consistent lightspeed dash I've ever used in a Sonic game. The lightspeed dash in this game has never failed me. When you're near a trail of rings, it always works as intended. Chaosx has also added momentum to the lightspeed dash. In the original 06, after performing the lightspeed dash, Sonic just kind of stops in the air and falls straight down. But in P06, the lightspeed dash elevates you forward and keeps you moving. There are so many things that Chaosx has changed to do with Sonic that just make him so much better to play. He no longer feels twitchy and uncontrollable, his acceleration feels natural, his homing attack has been improved, and the slide jump from SA2 has been added in, which is a really nice touch, and again just builds up how Sonic is designed to keep momentum in this project. So before I go any further, I've actually got LogiARPlayZ here with me, who's also made a video talking about Project 06 himself, and is a huge Sonic fan, and Sonic fangame fan, so it seems fitting to have him give his opinions about the demo.
Sonic 06. There's something about it that just always felt so epic. The music, the title screen, the serious tone of the entire game. Unfortunately, all that falls on its face as soon as you started to play the game. What Project 06 does is take that feeling of epicness and runs with it. At this time, it may not provide you with any exposition whatsoever, but it does provide you with, and this is going to sound extremely controversial, with one of the best 3D Sonic experiences. The new inclusion of momentum combined with the lightspeed dash ability allows you to gain and maintain speeds I guarantee you were never hitting in the original. Heck, the Mach speed sections make the boost games feel slow in comparison. You get probably the strongest homing attack in the series, not because of its range or precision lock-on, but because of its ability to propel you upwards towards an enemy. When speaking of upwards propulsion, you get that ever so satisfying bounce. Project 06 allows me to experience something I've never been able to experience in the newer games, and that's the ability to go fast in a variety of different ways. And that's variety that gives the game much more replayability. If there's a lot of enemies in front of me, I can spam the homing attack as fast as I want. Or I can spin dash through them. Or I can slide through them. Or I can start breakdancing and create an air vortex strong enough to destroy them. The choice is yours. Now I can already hear what most of you are thinking. But Logan, you're not listing ways to go fast. That's just how you get rid of enemies efficiently. Well, yeah. The game is based around that. When the game wants you to go absurdly fast for long periods of time, that's what the Mach speed sections are for. And let me tell you, they never really have you running in a straight hallway for much of any time. And I already know you're going to bring up Crisis City. And let me tell you, that doesn't count. Because that tornado's carrying the car. If there's a tiny straightaway that might bore me, ring dash. Two massive chonky robots that look like they might take a hot minute to destroy. Bounce attack. I guess this is what they meant by Alright. Speaking of reasons to stay, the latest demo 3.5 already has a mod made for it. What? Someone made a mod that permits us to play as any character in the game on whatever level we want. This is literally the Sonic Adventure 1 remake we've always wanted. Minus Elise. At this point, I'm almost wondering if Chaosx should be limited to working on something a lot of people won't try, just because of how bad the original was. Then I thought to myself, just let him remake 06 and then some guy will pour all of Sonic Adventure 1's levels into this game, because that's how the Sonic modding community works. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to mention that I haven't already said in my own video, so please be sure to check that out. Thanks for having me on, Lemon. This has been LogiARPlayZ, signing off.
Logi's channel will be in the description, and there will also be a card in the top right screen right now to go check him out. He's a super new channel that's just started out and likes to talk a lot about Sonic fan games, so make sure to go watch his stuff, especially if you're a Sonic fan. Okay, so I've talked about the big changes to the gameplay and physics in Sonic P06 and why they make the game so good, but there's more to talk about. Firstly, the graphics. So Sonic 06 is an old game, 2006 to be in fact. Wow. That's old now. Now when Sonic 06 released, the graphics were actually something that didn't completely bomb. They were nothing exceptional or groundbreaking, but they looked about average for an early 360 title. However, there's no denying that in 2020 the visuals are not exactly stellar. They're not awful, but they're just very bland and lifeless. Everything just looks a bit washed out in my opinion. That's where Project 06 comes in. Now this is at heart a port of a 360 game, so in a lot of aspects it's going to look like a 360 game, but Chaosx has made seemingly small changes that add up to really breathe new life into this game visually. For starters, characters. All the characters have had a facelift, now looking more detailed and sporting much better shading that makes them stand out and react to the lighting of stages. I could start analysing all the different things Chaosx has done to make these characters look so nice, but I don't think I need to. Just look at these models, they're beautiful. Chaosx has also given the environment new high resolution and more detailed textures that make the game world feel so much more alive and stages so much more lush. Overall, Chaosx has just added some really nice effects into the game and remade the environments to look just that much better. For example, the water in Wave Ocean looks gorgeous with the rich deep blue, much better than original 06's just muddy looking ocean with murky sand seemingly right below the water's surface. Speaking of water, look at Sonic sliding on the water compared to Sonic sliding on the water in original 06. The water sprays up at your screen and it feels so much more immersive. When Sonic grabs the whale fin, we now get splashing and the spray of the ocean in our face as we battle with the orca. In Kingdom Valley, the splashes Sonic makes running through puddles in the Mach Speed section just obliterate the original 06's minimal and pathetic effects. Speaking of Kingdom Valley, Chaosx has the third section of the level, Rain, and it looks amazing. Sonic running through Kingdom Valley with wind and rain all around him. This is how Kingdom Valley should have been from the offset. I especially love the effect of having the rain hit your screen as you run, with your speed pushing the raindrops away like rain on a car window. Crisis City looks more on fire than ever with the blazing red and oranges, and look at the added reflectiveness to the buildings compared to the original. God, this game just looks so fucking good. Lighting feels so natural and alive, explosions look more impactful, and overall the game is just a textbook definition of detailed visuals in a Sonic game done right. I can look past the fact Sonic is hanging out with realistically proportioned humans if the world looks like this. Another thing to mention is how the other characters actually play. So obviously Sonic is the only available character right now out of the 3 available in the original 06, but within Sonic's levels there are small sections where you play as a multitude of Sonic characters. I will be honest with you, I've never liked even the idea of Silver's gameplay, and in P06 I'm still not a huge fan, but Chaosx has actually made me get some enjoyment from him. While in the original 06, Silver was just fucking unbearable and a complete chore for me due to his huge emphasis on physics-based gameplay in a game that didn't fucking have any. In P06, Silver feels like how he was originally proposed to us in the trailers. You can now use his stun move as a projectile, and the actual act of throwing objects at the environment is nowhere near as frustrating as it once was. Another one is Knuckles. Knuckles sucked hard in 06. His climbing was unreliable and buggy as hell. His glide had a really weird feel to it with a very heavy decline, and his attacks felt stiff and unresponsive. But in P06, everything has been fixed. His climbing no longer is a buggy mess, it works as intended. His glide now actually has more glide to it, and his attacks are great. He now has 2 attacks, a heavy attack and a light one, and both are a delight. He no longer stops completely to perform them, but he can now hit and move simultaneously, making combat so much more dynamic. And now, I've purposefully saved him for last, but Tails. Tails is amazing in P06. In 06, he was just fucked. He had one slow attack being the ring dummy bomb, which barely worked. You could drop dummy rings in the air or throw them on the ground. It was slow, clunky, and just made combat something you would avoid entirely. As for his flying, they even managed to fuck that up. Tails can't hover. With the way he controls, once he starts moving in one direction flying, he won't stop until you change him to another direction. He literally cannot just hover. On top of this, he had no meter to show you how much energy he had left. Tails was abysmal in 06, not fun to fly and not fun to attack with, so that basically leaves you with run. But wait, they even fucked that up. He's way too slow. Like, are you shitting me? His base speed is ridiculously slow. Now for P06, flying has been fixed. He has normal acceleration and can actually hover in the air. On top of this, he now actually has a meter to show how much energy he has left. Flying is finally fun and doesn't feel like a constant battle with the controls. Now for combat, Tails still has his ring dummy attack that you can drop from above or throw on the ground. Now aerial was never really an issue in 06, it worked fine, so that's okay. It was throwing the dummy rings on the ground that was the fucking problem. Well, in P06 it's fixed. When aiming precisely, Tails now actually has an aiming reticle so we can see where we are actually throwing. But that's not the best bit. Tails has another attack, the tail swipe from SA1, and it's fucking great. You can now quickly deal with enemies and keep your momentum going. You can also use the tail swipe in the air, allowing him to take out aerial enemies or attack from above. And lastly, his base speed is fixed. Tails now actually moves at a decent pace on his own. Thank God, he can actually go fast in a Sonic game. Now I will let you in on a secret. I have never really liked playing as Tails. In SA1 he was pretty decent, but aside from that I have just never really liked the gameplay that he offers throughout the games. But this game here is the first time I have fucking loved playing as Tails, and I'm desperate to play as him in more of Sonic's stages. There are so many amazing changes in P06. Even seemingly minor ones, like the fact that characters can now hurt enemies when jumping on them. Yeah, that's right, in 06 you couldn't hurt an enemy unless you homing attacked them. Just jumping into them would do nothing. Being able to actually jump into enemies gives the game that classic Sonic feel and stops combat from breaking the pace up. The last thing I want to give props for in this section is how much customization Chaosx gives you in P06. If you actually delve into settings, you'll be amazed to see how much you can change. Firstly, a customizable HUD that you can change and move around to suit you. Then there's themes for the main menu, just like in SA2. You can change the jump and spin dash style from the original 06 one to look more like the Sonic Adventure one if you're feeling nostalgic or just prefer the look. You can enable a lock-on reticle for the homing attack like the boost games so you can see what you're locked onto, and so much more. There is so much to mess around with in Project 06, and we are only on Demo 3. Now there is a purposeful part of P06 that I have deliberately not mentioned until now because I feel it deserved its own section in the video, and that is the mock speed sections. In the original 06 these were universally seen as an absolute shit show, and for good reason. They just didn't work. In these sections, Sonic is constantly running forward and you can't stop. It's the player's job to dodge incoming enemies and obstacles, but here's the problem. Firstly, instant death everywhere. You hit a wall, dead. You touch anything, and I mean anything on the track, like even wooden crates or even just a wall next to you, instantly lose all of your rings. And if you get hit again, instantly die. Have enemies on the stage everywhere but no actual way to destroy them or fight back. Have an occasional alternate pathway but then make it virtually impossible to access it due to the fact the controls just stop you going that way. Have long sections of the level dedicated to having Sonic jump from different parts of the environment to look cinematic, but then don't bother to animate his jump and just have him do this. These were not fun, but Chaosx has taken one of the worst parts of Sonic 06 and made it one of the best. For starters, no more instant death on walls, instead this happens. Much better. Still punishes the player but allows them to recalculate their approach and try to get back into the race. Secondly, no longer does everything that can possibly fucking exist hurt Sonic. Things like small rocks, crates, sunbeds and items like that now are sent flying by Sonic coming into them at high speed. No longer an unnecessary obstacle. Now a purposeful thing people will try and run into so they can see the spectacle of things flying everywhere. Doing this really makes you feel the power of the speed you're going at. And thirdly, enemies. We can finally fight back with a brand new move Chaosx has implemented in mock sections, the slide. By tapping the B button, Sonic will do a quick slide that can allow him to mow down enemies in his path. A super effective way to fight back and a badass looking way of doing it. But Chaosx has also done something else. He took the 06 mock speed sections and cranked the speed bit up to overload. In the original MOC sections, you would lightspeed dash trails of rings to run faster. Well, Chaosx took that idea and ran with it. The speed you can get to in these sections is incredible. It's a true thrill ride, and the lightspeed dash is now essentially your boost. To get a speed fast enough to plow through things in front of you, you want to constantly be lightspeed dashing to keep your speed up. These sections are now extremely fast paced, and while this is a much more minor change compared to everything else I've just listed off, the new actual animations of Sonic jumping from wall to wall make them look so much better and just make the overall presentation of the levels way cleaner. I really am struggling to put into words how fun these MOC speed sections really are. You seriously need to play it for yourself to understand the thrill of truly blasting through these iconic set pieces. As LogiARPlayZ states in his own video, these new MOC speed sections essentially make the boost outdated. Now before we get into the final section of the video, I actually have Pointing Out the Obvious here with me as well, who would also love to give his opinion about Project 06, considering how closely he follows the Sonic fan game scene.
Sonic 06 was really a game I wanted to like when I was a kid. I only played it after, the reputation of the game was very well known. I even had favorite reviews like Some Call Me Johnny's and Clement's. But even though I really loved those reviews, I did want to love the game, but I couldn't. It was too frustrating, it was too boring, and I experienced the same thing everyone does where you start the game, go to Wave Ocean, die a bunch, and then have to start everything all over again because you didn't freaking save. But I've played Sonic 06, even though I don't like it, a lot more than I should have. I've played that game front to back 3 times. And I didn't know why until I played Project 06. Project 06, for me, proves that Sonic 06 could have been a perfection of the adventure formula. Because right now, the Sonic stages in Project 06, those are my favorite Sonic stages out of any of the levels in the adventure formula. I know, I sound insane. How can I say this about Sonic Adventure 2 and 1? But they are. The level design is so good and so wide and open, but also so focused on speed, and there's enemies, there's so much to do, so many different pathways at every single turn, shortcuts, skips. A perfect example of the multiple pathways and skips is Dusty Desert. People always say that level is way too linear, but that's just because they're taking the linear path. If you just go up on the top path, there is so much you can just skip in the level. The level is so big, and I love Dusty Desert. It's awesome! And then there's so many variety with the gems actually working, even though I don't use them that much, but they're there if I wanted to. And I love the way the friend system works. I've always had a problem with the adventure games forcing me to play as other characters besides Sonic, but here you just do it in the level for a few minutes, and it's actually pretty fun because I'm not forced to do something that's not progressing forward in the level, like treasure hunting or shooting a mech, which I don't hate those stages in the other games, but it's great that I don't even have to think about them. This demo even makes Silver way more fun. He's my favorite character to play, next to Sonic. I love him. I love playing as Silver. Even though the gameplay is a little repetitive, but no, I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, Project 06 made me really realize how much I wanted to like Sonic 06. Can't wait till this demo finishes so I can say that Sonic 06 is one of my favorite Sonic games of all time. The PC port, at least.
Make sure to check out Pointing Out the Obvious' channel. There will be a link in the description as well as a card in the top right corner right now, so go show him some love. He does a lot of Sonic content. Now you must probably think, okay, 33 minutes in, I've analysed all aspects of the demo, had 2 people on to give their thoughts. Surely that's enough. Surely there's no more to say. But actually no. I was that blown away by this project that I reached out to Chaosx, otherwise known as the creator of Project 06, to see if he would be up for an interview, and he actually agreed to one in the Twitter DMs, so we can actually see firsthand from the creator what this project is all about. Question 1. Why Sonic 06? Of all the Sonic games to choose, why choose one that is seen as one of the lowest points in the franchise? It's a game I've been interested in for a very long time. Since I got my way into playing and discovering games through the internet, the game had absolutely genius marketing and promotion, and the style of the game just caught my attention, and it just happened to technically be the worst game in the franchise. 2. Obviously you've added and modified a lot of things in the remake, but how many mechanics and ideas from Sonic 06 were good enough to keep and didn't need modifying? A lot of them just needed a few touches and polish, but I haven't fully scrapped the mechanic that the original game has yet, as far as I can remember. 3. How did you find the team and how has it grown? Did you just find people as passionate as you were about the project? If so, where? It's not a team per se, it's just friends of mine I've known for years now, or people who got interested and managed to gain my trust, and they've offered to help me out of their own volitation. If it weren't for them asking, I would have continued on my own as much as I could. I never accept help from random people I meet. 4. Do you worry you will ever have to deal with Sega taking down the fan project? Hopefully not. Sega is usually cool with fan games as long as they don't get out of that grey area, not making profits of a copyrighted project, at least for Sonic. 5. Do you hope Sega will contact you in discussion to maybe make the port official and have it released on something like Steam? Long shot I know, but I thought I'd ask. I hope I don't ever have to deal with Sega about any of my projects. I have no desire to take any of my work into official grounds, and I wish to stay indie at the very least, because I don't see game development as a career. It's something I do as a hobby, for passion, to have a good time and learn new skills. 6. And lastly, if you could, when would you roughly say the port would be fully finished? I have no way of setting a release date. I'm very spontaneous when it comes to projects like these. I can work fast or procrastinate, and because of that nature of mine, I never know when I'll finish something, so unfortunately I can't say an exact date. I want to thank Chaosx again for taking the time to answer those questions. They proved to be really insightful. Overall, if you haven't noticed already, I really am a fan of this project. Just like pointing out the obvious said, I always wanted to like 06, I could see the potential within it, but it was buried so deep in such a jank game, I never could grow to truly love the game. Project 06 has not only fixed everything, but in my opinion made the best adventure gameplay style I have ever played. Yes, better than SA1 and SA2. I really do think it's that good. There will be a link to Chaosx's channel in the description where you can download the game for yourself and check out what he's up to. If you have a PC, definitely download this demo because this project has done the impossible. It's made Sonic 06 an exceptional game.